one of America's most important modernist painters.
Dad was an icon, not just for Louisiana, but for all of America.
George was definitely a pioneer in terms of his expression of Cajun life.
And when he painted those paintings, he was giving everyone a chance to see the world through his own eyes. And that's the essence of a great artist. A great artist is defining the world that they live in.
You know, he was big. He was bigger than me.
Everyone who knows Rodrigue's work at some point compares him to the American artist Andy Warhol.
What makes Blue Dog very unique is George. He's one of the greatest ambassadors of Louisiana through his artwork and as a human being.
Dad grew up in New Iberia, Louisiana, in the heart of Cajun country.
And in the 3rd grade, I got polio, and my mother bought me a paint by number set. But I didn't like to paint in between the lines. So I turned the canvas over and I painted pictures on the back side of the paint by number set.
The first painting that George Rodrigue, who painted thousands of paintings, who hangs in museums around the world, the first painting he ever saw by anybody in his life was his own.
And it wasn't till he went to art school in LA that he realized how special and unique his culture was.
And when George came along, it kind of lost so much of our culture.
And there was something about those paintings. They had a haunting quality, the darkness, the contrast with the Cajuns all in white and the oak trees.
The oak tree has symbolically kept these people apart from the rest of the world.
George's mama was not happy at all when George called himself a Cajun artist. She thought of the Cajuns as ignorant.
There was an official government push to effectively destroy the Cajun culture. And George had paintings that illustrated this.
It shows that in the 1950s, the school system didn't want the students to speak French.
They had to go to live in the swamps, you know. They were not allowed in New Orleans. They were not allowed in the populated areas. This is what I want to show, the pain, the suffering of all these people.
The Aioli Dinner is an incredibly pivotal painting for George Rodrigue.
There's a primitive aspect. It's almost brutal.
He never sold it.
Meet the Blue Dog, the curious blue canine with bright yellow eyes.
When I realized that the Blue Dog was in itself an idea, I did not need the landscapes anymore.
The Blue Dog is rooted in a Cajun folklore story.
One of the stories I wanted to paint was Loup Garou, which is Crazy Wolf, which was like the boogeyman.
I brought home a puppy, and she was very scruffy looking. She used to sit at George's easel when he painted.
I remember her as being, you know, kind of like my sibling almost.
He thought she looked more interesting always when he would get down low and photograph her head on.
And so I just painted that as a Loup Garou.
When he painted, you know, Tiffany as, you know, the Loup Garou, it was kind of frightening to me because it looked so different from like her actual fur color.
He overhears people in that exhibition talking about this blue dog.
And it just took off like a rocket ship.
It's a veritable Blue Dog empire.
By an artist who has created a new dimension for man's best friend.
実はこれは今、アメリカで大変話題の画家、ジョージ・ロドリーゲさんが描かれたものなんです。
Whether it was Rolling Stone magazine or on post,
it just kept going and going and getting bigger and bigger.
This Blue Dog has become his Campbell soup can.
George was slighted by the museum community.
There were a lot of critical people in the art world, in the art culture that were like, what is this guy? You know, and he proved them all wrong.
Those kind of people think that if an artist is incredibly popular, there must be something wrong.
You're a genius at marketing. No, if I'm a genius at painting. Because the paintings, you can't market trash. You know, you can, but it's still trash.
George didn't paint what Louisiana looks like. George painted what Louisiana feels like.
He gave this to me. It says, Tony, thank for all the help in 2005, the year of Katrina.
Yeah, he doesn't go away. I mean, that's like asking, you know, is Beethoven dead?
When George passed, we lost a lot. He's still painting somewhere.
This dog is saying, why am I here? And where am I going? And what does it all mean?